Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be your moderator in this forum. I'm Stella Rosta, and on behalf of College KPTM Alustar, I would like to extend a very welcome to all of you who are watching this. We appreciate you to taking time off your busy schedule to watch this forum. First of all, let me introduce our speaker for this morning. All of them are very eligible and very expert on this topic that we are going to discuss. Here is our specially invited Dr. Amisha, President of National Union of Teaching Profession. Next, our professional Dr. Kurato Aini, Counselor in Psychology Center. Next is our expert professor, Professor Hamiza, Professor in Management Communication. And lastly is our invited guest, a very expert businesswoman, Dato Nur Afika Naziha, founder of Beauty Product. Welcome to our forum today. What is social media? Social media can be described as the collection of online platforms that involve sharing and collaborating with an online community by posting, commenting, and interacting with one another. The most commonly used social media platforms today are Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Snapchat. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, social media is a powerful communication medium. It is no surprise that social media has influence over cities as well as remote areas. Use of social media for communicating ideas, personal and professional stories and experiences has had a profound effect on the overall way people communicating today. However, it is only part of the digital revolution that we are witnessing. Digital transformation has not only influenced businesses and made the world more accessible, but it's also changed the way we communicate. The importance of social media has improved human communication. It's a constant topic of the discussion. Just how has social media affected communication? You ask. In more ways than you may think, but not all are bad. In this forum, we will discuss the effect that social media has improved as a powerful communication medium. Without further ado, I would like to welcome the first presenter to give an explanation on how well online communication is brought to people. Dr. Anisha, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Moderator Forum. My name is Nur Amisha binti Zaimi. Exposures to messaging. Discuss which of the following is the most important factors which contributes to good formulations in its examination. Introduction. With the advent of social media, people including leaders and adults can also be exposed to messages. For example, people will share their important knowledge or not to others via message app. There are a lot of apps that people can use like WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat, Instagram, and others. These then have a good side, which is that people can improve their communication with messaging app operations. Information overload. Many people take to pages of social media, spending half scrolling through status. Ultimately, this may lead to a constant craving of more internet and more social media consumption. The more people got, the more they want. It has to stop the cycle. More people write new. Social media has made reading the new school again. According to Webits, 23% of young adults get news from social media. Whopping 61% get political news from Facebook. On social media, people share interesting news. The They can follow various news subscribe page, getting the full picture. Story a part of Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, meaning that people get the full picture of an event activity of occurrence in someone's life. We not leisure just get a snapshot of a home cook's meal. We meet see the interest process from minutes. Brilliance in conversion. Here a site social media effect on communication with a becoming. Whereas when we have real in-person conversations, people have thus a need for social media conceptions and the instant colorful feedback only social media can give. Their will after become words during their conversation resorting to their phone. This can lead to a decline in the quality and number of meaningful conversations. Relation to nonverbal emotions and social costs. In persons, relation to nonverbal emotional or social costs are sharing in the people don't need to respond to this type of communication when they are online. This leads to less experience and awareness of costs that can only be reversed from in-person communication. Conclusion: exposure to mass media family planning messages does not have a direct association with correct as of modern contraceptive of the controlling for socio-economic factor. There is evidence that it does have indirect increases its strong positive association with interpersonal communication, which in turn is stronger and positive assisted with contraceptive as. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amisha, for your explanation. Okay, now let's invite Dr. Krotain to give an opinion on the positive effect of social media to ourselves.
Thank you so much, moderator. My name is Nurkotaini binti Kamal and Assalamualaikum. For today, I will explain about self-expression. Self-expression values are at all-time highs and people are increasingly relying upon social media platforms to express themselves positively and accurately. We examined whether self-expression on social media platforms elicits positive and accurate social perceptions. 11 perceivers rate 128 individuals on their impulsivity, self-esteem, and attachment styles, based solely on the information provided in Target 10 most recent tweets. Target were on average perceived normatively and with distinct self-other agreement, indicating most positive and accurate social perceptions. There were also individual differences in how positively and accurate targets were perceived, which exploratory analysis indicate may be partially driven by differential words usage. For self-expression, divided for several parts, which is sense of urgency. No one has to wait for longer than a few hours for a response and people have to come expect that timeline for a conversation. There is so much of There is so much of a sense of urgency that people are often anxious if they haven't heard back from a family member, friend or partner in a number of hours. Secondly is they always need to share. Social media has created a feeling among users that they must share whatever they are doing, from restaurant orders to concert to the books they are reading. This can be social media positive effect because people are getting more exposure to things they might not otherwise, such as new reads. But it can also be a negative effect as it can urge people to become dependent on posting anything occurring in their own life and painting those occurrences as richer than they truly are. For the lastly is how we value ourselves. When people see others having a wonderful life as represented on social media, they tend to have a negative self-image and start to devalue their own ways of life. In addition, there is a feeling of needing to paint an incorrectly positive and fun version of one's own life, which leads to feelings of negativity about one's real life. So, the conclusion of self-expression is many social need to exposure to mass media family planning. Messages does not have a direct association with current use of modern contraceptive after controlling for socio-economic factors. There is evidence that it does have indirect influence through its strong positive association with interpersonal communication, which in turn is strongly and positively associated with contraceptive use. Thank you, moderator. That's all my explain about self-expression.
Yes, I do agree with Dr. Krata Aini about exposing our social updates in stories to self-memorization. Thank you once again. And now let's have Professor Hamiza to share her thoughts on communication styles.
Dear moderator, my name is Nurul Hamzah Zulkifli. This is my thoughts communication style. In social media, the ability to communicate effectively plays a large role in resolving conflict and preventing confrontations or harassing. Effective communication style, you are able to deliver clear expectation and objective for your team even in WhatsApp, Instagram and others. Good communication in social media also improves relationship with the influence and in your personal life with friends and family members. Summarize writing. Starting with the limit characters, start messaging of the 2000 and nowadays with the 140 characters speed. Messages have been getting shorter and more concise. Other areas of communication have adapted for summarized writing as well, such as in shortened word memos, shortened academic communication between student and professor, and shorter message in advertising. The abbreviated style of communicating that became popular when text messages started in the zero has continued into online communication. It has also made its way into traditional, non-abbreviated form of communication such as spoken language, email communication, and even academic form of writing. This has caused concern among some academics, citing students that show a correlation between text and negative effect on literacy skills, such as writing skill and reading accuracy. Other studies show that using text has no effect on spelling ability or correct grammar as. For a full review of real studies, see this meta-analysis. Affective interaction. Social media and internet interaction offer a way between the person sending and the person receiving the message. The interactions are no longer face-to-face, and this can lead to some unfiltered communications as people feel they can say anything with no repercussions. GIF and emojis. The introduction of using emojis to illustrate a writing message or a GIF to express a reaction may sound fun and innocent, but it is also interfering with our ability to properly craft a writing response. It ends up being too tempting to respond with a small picture or a funny moving photo than to ask the mind to create a response with. From such viral message, the quick and easy share button on so many social media platforms has led to the phenomena of gone viral. Gone viral. Message, video, and others content can be easily shared between platforms with millions of people in a matter of. It does not replace face-to-face communication at the moment, but in a few years, when the younger generation come up, it will more than likely have a bigger effect on face-to-face communication. The younger generation at the moment is using social media all the time and is taking it as their way to communicate. I think nowadays people are using social media as it is a handway to keep in contact with friends and family when you have a busy lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hamiza, for sharing your thoughts. Last but not least, I would like to welcome Dato Nur Afika Naziha to give a speech on how social media influence essential business strategy.
Thank you to moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dr. Nur Afika Naziha binti Abdul Yazid, founder of Beauty Product. My part is to explain about in business. In business, we have three, which is introduction, elaboration, and conclusion. Introduction about business is selling on social media is a great decision because we are able to communicate with outside customers no matter where they are. Communication while selling on social media can also strengthen our relationship between sellers and customers. People will attracted to our product and buy it because of communication skills. Second, we go to elaboration. Elaboration is divided to 5, which is first, building a community. Building a community by utilizing social media, brands are able to create an entire community based on their products or service. The use of particular brand can be integral to being a part of certain lifestyle, and social media perpetuates that idea. By being involved with the right communities or making your own community out of a brand, such as Disney, companies are creating the most loyal of customers. Second is brands are speaking directly to audience. Brands are speaking directly to audience is companies no longer go through media such as TV stations, magazines, or newspapers to reach customers. Brands now have direct access to customers by way of social media, so they can now find out exactly the needs of the customer much faster and respond accordingly. Third, social media is changing traditional media, which is traditional media was such that a brand would just post an article and it would reach audience. With social media and the way information reaches consumers today makes it so that it's important who is posting or writing about a product. Influencers, bloggers, and YouTube celebrities can all have a much bigger impact on getting a product successful in the market. Fourth, with social media, brands can have a more personal connection with the media. With social media, brands have a more personal and long-term connection with journalists. Instead of a one-time phone call or email for a story or new product information, brands can relate relationships with journalists and get them interested in sharing their stories.
Fifth, there's an opportunity to coordinate with PR effort. Fifth, there's an opportunity to coordinate with PR effort, which is brands can create some important PR campaigns through social media. Through social media, companies have an easier time finding influencers to work with, other brands to collaborate with, and news source to feed stories too. And the last one is conclusion. The conclusion in business is brands will be successful in the future because of good communication with customers. Second, a lot of people will buy the products because of our good communicative attitude to others. And last, able to attract young people to do business online because of good communication with the people and no sense of shame in their life. That's all for explanation in business. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Dato Nur Afkanazia, for your opinion. I agree that many businesses are easily spread on social media. Thank you, Dr. Afkanazia, Dr. Amisha, Dr. Kratain, and Professor Hamiza for the affirmative and interesting thoughts. So now let me conclude what it has said. Social media is a really convenient and important communication network for all people nowadays. There are many advantages that can be gained in many ways. We can use it for exposure in messaging, self-expression, communication styles, and also in the business industry, just like all the speakers had said before. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of our forum. We would like to send our gratitude to the presenter for our informative and interesting talk. Also, for the audience for willingly watching this forum till the end. Hopefully this forum will be beneficial to everyone. Thank you once again and goodbye.